What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. We're back here for another match preview, and it is the big one. Tottenham travel to Anfield tomorrow in top v second, not Liverpool in top, Tottenham Hotspur in top, going to Anfield, top of the league, to take on the reigning champions in Liverpool. An injury struck Liverpool, but that doesn't take anything away from their Anfield form. Their away form is struggling from it, but they are still unbeaten and unbeatable in Anfield.
Not just unbeaten, 100%
win
record.
Exactly.
100% win record.
Exactly.
The last two home games they swept aside Leicester and Wolves, two accomplished sides, 3-0 and 4-0. Then they've beaten West Ham, Sheffield United, Arsenal and Leeds. Apart from that, so I guess they haven't really played at home the big hitters yet, but I think the way they've swatted away everyone, even despite their injuries, means that it doesn't matter really what lineup they put out. They're going to be a massive, massive threat, and they're going to want to keep that record by hook or by crook. They're going to defend it like their life depends on it, and we all know how Klopp is proud of his Anfield record.
And yeah, for sure. And when you look at their squad, the amount of injuries is actually mental.
It's crazy.
When you look at it, it's a bit similar to what we went through last season, if not worse, to be fair. They have their best two centre-backs ruled out. We last year we had our best two attackers. Yeah. So I'd rather have Toby and Dyer ruled out than Son and Kane, that's for sure. But so that whether it was worse or not, but let's have
their midfielders as well. There's a lot of midfielders as well.
Let's have a look at the injuries. So obviously Naby Keita out. He's currently been assessed. He's got 25% chance of making the game, which is not very likely. Got Thiago Alcantara out. He's hardly played a game since joining Liverpool.
He played against Everton and then he's been out ever since, hasn't he?
Obviously, Virgil van Dijk out for the season. James Milner, 100% out for the game. Shaqiri out. Joe Gomez out. Matip is about 50-50 to make it, but I got a slight inkling he's going to make it. Jota, who's been on brilliant form, he's out.
Apparently for at least 6 weeks, they're saying.
Yeah, so that's their injury problems. And when you look at our injury problems, our only notable absentee is Lamella.
So it's all right. I guess that's advantage us in that sense. But looking at the Liverpool lineup, despite their exhaustive injury list, they're still going to have probably Fabinho and Fabinho and Matip at centre back.
Trent and Robertson.
Trent Robertson at full back. They're probably going to have Henderson fit, Wijnaldum fit. Curtis Jones has come and done really, really good job.
I really like the look of Curtis Jones.
So he's been impressive. And they've still got that front three of Firmino, Salah, and Mane. So look, even though they've got a whole host of injuries, they've still got a really dangerous team out. And with the Anfield record, it's going to take something special to overcome that, because they were again at home they've been fantastic. They've been still the best I've seen them. But away from home, they've haven't won since their first away game of the season against Chelsea. They've struggled a bit, but at home they've been imperious. So I guess we'll have to see how it pans out. But I think Mourinho, he's definitely going to see. He's going to see an opportunity.
He thrives on these opportunities.
He will see an opportunity. I think Mourinho will see an opportunity, especially if Matip doesn't make it. They were forced to play Henderson and Fabinho against Fulham at centre back positions, and he'll definitely see that and think we could definitely get at that back four.
Was Mourinho the Chelsea manager when the Demba Ba goal went in, when Gerrard slipped? So you know what I mean? All the omens are there for us. Jose Mourinho loves spoiling a party. He loves it. And what's going on at every Liverpool game at the moment, every Liverpool home game, it's a party. They haven't lost there in like 2.5 years or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
So if anyone's going to break the record, it's going to be Jose Mourinho. It's going to be Tottenham. And you know the way Jose's going to set up for this game. You just know we're going to set up to frustrate Liverpool all day. It's going to be very hard for Liverpool to score a goal. And if we go and get the first goal at Anfield, I think it's going to be very, very hard for Liverpool to come back into this game.
Look, we're going to starve Salah and Mane of space, aren't we? That's the game plan's going to be. They're not going to have space to run into, so they're going to have to try and score from open play. And we've only conceded 3 goals from open play this season, and especially with Van Dijk not there, Gomez not there, set pieces, they're not going to be as much of a threat as they would have been. So I think definitely there is some big, big positives for us to take into this. But with Salah, Mane, and Firmino, that's the best front three in the league, arguably. So they're always going to be a threat, even from open play. And even if you don't give them space, they've got such good quality on them. It's going to be very, very tough. But I think the way we're playing at the moment, I think we've got a really good chance of getting a result. And I'm talking more than just a draw. I think we've got a really good chance of getting a win. I think Son and Kane are definitely going to be licking their lips at that back four and thinking there's definitely stuff to be had. Because even with a fully fit back four, Trent's still not the best defender in the world, is he? So, even though he's good going forward, he's still definitely gettable at the back.
Yeah.
So I think we're definitely going to go into this game thinking there's goals in this for us, for sure. But it's all about keeping it tight, restricting Liverpool as much as possible, not letting them play their football, not giving them space, because that's what they rely on and thrive on, that space in behind, having that low block and being able to counter them. And I'm sure Mourinho's going to have some sort of plan going into it. And I am really looking forward to this game. And I think the draw, even though they were away from home, the draws against Fulham and Brighton were a bit telling, I felt, for Liverpool in the past few games. They really did struggle in both those games. And whether that's something they're going to be worried about remains to be seen. I know there was a 4-0 win against Wolves in between, but those two draws, they probably should have lost both of those games. Yeah. And they'll probably got lucky to come away with draws in both of those games. So
Agent Scotty P.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Mourinho's obviously going to take a draw in this game if it's given to him. I don't think he draws.
Would you take a draw right now?
No, I wouldn't, because of the injuries they have. I wouldn't take a draw. I think we can get the win. But your draw's not a bad result.
You just know, though, Klopp is going to have them right bang up for this one.
Of course he will, and it's going to be tough. But with Højbjerg and Sissoko protecting our back four, I'm confident we can keep them out. I really am. I'm very, very confident that they're going to be mopping up everything. And then Son and Kane and whoever else is with them, whether it be Bergman or Lucas, should be able to exploit the space that Liverpool leave in behind, because they're going to come for the win. That's what they do every game at Anfield. So it's all about whether we can beat the press and sustain some attacks when possible, and I think we can.
Is that going to play into our hands a little bit then, in terms of Liverpool going for it?
Yeah, probably a bit. I think if they leave too much space, we can exploit that, and that could definitely play into our hands. But we know Liverpool, look, with their fullbacks, how dangerous they are crossing the ball, with how much quality Salah, Mane and Firmino have. It's never a given that you're going to get a clean sheet against this lot, for sure. But
of course it's not.
But with Højbjerg and Sissoko doing the job for the team as they have been, it's going to take something special for them to really break through our defence, I think.
Where do you think the key matchups are on the pitch, and where do you think we're most likely to gain joy?
Definitely Kane and Son up against their centre-backs and Trent. I think for sure there's joy to be had there. 100% there's joy to be had there. Kane should be able to compete physically against their centre-backs very well. And if we can get up to Kane and make it stick and start some counters, I think we can get a lot of joy there. For sure. Midfield, Højbjerg, Sissoko, and whether it be Ndombele or Lo Celso up against their midfield field, probably Wijnaldum, Henderson and Curtis Jones. I think physically we should have the edge. I'm hoping we should have the edge physically. Whether we have enough ball playing ability for quick transitions, we didn't have it against Palace, but hopefully we should be on the ball against Liverpool. So I think in midfield is definitely the big matchup. Where I worry a bit is in the fullback areas, because Trent and I know Son and Bergwijn are very good at tracking back, but Trent and Robinson are going to be going forward a lot. So whether they get stifled because they're tracking back too much is a bit of a worry for me, or whether, if they're not stifled, whether Trent and Robinson get too much space. That worries me a bit.
Do you not reckon Klopp might play to that? Because he knows what Jose is going to try and do, surely he'll try and come up with a game plan to counteract what Jose is going to do and not kind of commit the fullbacks forward that much or
maybe
too much.
That's exactly what Lampard did. Lampard was smart about it. James and Chilwell didn't get too far forward, and we weren't able to exploit the space. So maybe Klopp saw that and can think he could repeat that, which would be a frustration. But for what I think, how Liverpool play at Anfield and how they've been playing for the past 2 years, they pretty much only know one way. It doesn't matter who comes to Anfield, they attack them and they try to go for the win. So
and 9 times out of 10 they do get that
exactly
win.
So I can't see them going for anything different. And especially the last 2 games, Leicester and Wolves, 2 teams who who historically this season anyway like to sit deep and counter against the better teams. They've definitely found a way in those games to come away to create chances at will. Really, they really battered both of them. Yeah. So we have to be wary of that. And it's going to be a very, very difficult game. This is a real big test for us. If we come away with a win,
be our biggest test of the season
for sure. Of course, it's Liverpool. This is one of the best teams in world football, and they have
if
been.
Not the.
And they have been over the past couple of years, and it doesn't matter how many injuries they have, it doesn't seem to affect them as much as people would think. But I think in these games, when it's so tight, when the margins are so slim, the injuries can make a difference. Because I think when you're playing, even though Leicester and Wolves are good teams, I think the quality is greater between Liverpool and Leicester and Liverpool and Wolves than it is between Liverpool and Tottenham at the moment. And I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. And when the margins are that small, I think even if you lose 1 or 2% from the injuries, that can make all the difference. So I'm hoping we can exploit that. But we all know Liverpool are going to turn up for this game, and they're not giving up their title without a fight. You can see that. So it's a big game on Tuesday night. If we come away with a win, I think then all of a sudden everyone will start taking us really seriously.
Do you think if we do come away with the win, we suddenly become favourites for the title?
If we come away with a win, yeah, you'd see. I reckon the odds might be slashed.
At the moment, as it stands, actually, Man City are favourites for the title. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
City are favourites.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw it last night. So City are 2.5. Liverpool are 3s, and then Spurs and Chelsea are like 7 and 7.5.
I can't believe City. Wow, what makes City favourites?
I don't get it either.
I can't see it. City have been pretty poor this season. Yeah. Pretty poor. So that's very surprising that they've made City favourites. Do Spurs become favourites? Still probably not, even if we win. But I think we definitely become. I think in everyone's eyes, we'll become very, very serious contenders. I think right now people see us like, yeah, they're in and amongst it at the moment, but they won't last. They won't last the marathon. Yeah. But I think if we do actually come away with a win in Liverpool, then everyone starts to sing up and say, okay, they're serious this season. I think. Look. Obviously, we think we're serious this season. We're Spurs fans, so we're probably biased. But I
do think the tide is turning, though. I do think some fans are starting to take notice and think Tottenham are serious this season, just because of the Jose Mourinho aspect of it, and also the way the players are buying into the Jose Mourinho methods.
Yeah, and how consistent we've been pretty much throughout the season so far. We've been really consistent. Like, for example, Leicester, despite them being on a similar points total to us, they've lost 4 games. Right, we've only lost 1, and
that's the draws that are screwing us.
Yeah, and that shows that Leicester their form might drop off at some point if they're losing as many games as that after 12 games.
I know they are in a similar spot to us, but I do feel just Leicester are a bit too inconsistent.
That's what I'm saying. It was very similar to Spurs when we in Pochettino's last full season. In that first half of the season, we were getting wins but we lost a lot of games, but we didn't draw any. So we're actually near the top come January, but we'd actually lost like a lot of games.
We didn't draw until like December or
something
January
like that.
Or something.
But going into February, we'll have only 5 points off the top because we would either lose or win. We would never draw, so we weren't dropping any of those points. But all of a sudden, that caught up with us, and I feel like it might catch up with Leicester at some point. And for Spurs, we just need to start turning those draws into wins, which definitely are possible. Given if you see the draws that have happened this season, at least 3 of them should have been wins. So that's definitely something that you can look at. But I think at the moment, Spurs are definitely in the hunt. Look, you got to say that we're top at the moment going into this game at Anfield, and I think people should start taking us seriously. But I think if we get a win in this game, I think the whole Premier League will probably think that we've definitely got a very good shout.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we need to change from the Palace game is we need to be clinical up front, go back to being clinical, because we just weren't good going forward against Palace. Well, I say that, but in the first 15 minutes we looked good. We just weren't putting away the chances. But I would say that the rest of that game, we didn't counter well. We weren't countering well like we have done in the previous games. We need to get back to countering well, keeping it tight and countering well against Liverpool. And I really think we can get a result if we do that.
I think the fact of the matter that we attacked so poorly, yet their keeper was man of the match, bowled somewhat well for us. Somewhat well. But I'm thinking Kane and Son are going to be well up for this game. They'll be licking their lips, so I'm looking forward to it. And I think we can definitely get a result, at least a draw for sure. We can definitely get at least a draw. I'll be slightly disappointed if we lose, to be honest. But look,
I'll be very disappointed.
I'll be very disappointed if we lose. But look, it can happen in these games, so we have to see how it plays out. But we just got to be on it from minute one. We can't let Liverpool have a fast start and bully us into submission like they do a lot of teams. We've got to be strong. We've got to be resolute. We've got to make sure we don't leave any space for Mane and Salah to play in. And if we do that, we've got every chance.
Let's be honest, though. Every time we've come up against a top 6 side this season, we've played it to perfection.
Yep. Completely. Well, big game record this season, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. 10 points out of possible 12 so far.
Yeah. The only points dropped at Stamford Bridge, which is no disgrace.
Yeah, so look.
And a clean sheet at that as well.
Yeah. So I think Mourinho has definitely got the pedigree so far in these big games. And I think he'll be, as you say, he'll be licking his lips with this. I bet he can't wait. He can't wait.
What score prediction are you going for?
It's tough.
I know it's a tough one.
My heart says 1-0 Spurs. My head says draw. I'm gonna go for 1-1.
1-1. You're gonna go for 1-1. I'm gonna go for 1-0 Spurs.
1-0.
I'm gonna go for 1-0 Spurs.
Right,
I've got to keep positive. We're going to Anfield positive this time.
Sure.
We're going to Anfield confident. I don't remember actually the last time we went to Anfield confident. Probably that time we drew 2-2.
Yeah, I think we haven't won. We haven't won at Anfield in a while. However, the past few times.
The last time we won there was Van der Vaart.
Yes, but I would say past 3 times since that game where Kane scored that last-minute equalisers, it's all been very, very, very close games. We either drawn like we did at Anfield 2-2, or we've lost by the odd goal.
Yeah.
Toby Alderweireld scored that last-minute own goal at Anfield. That made it 1-1.
Salah always seems to have a good game against us as well.
Aurier last year, late penalty. When Sissoko blazed over the bar, that changed the game. That could have been a win for Spurs, and it ended up being a loss. So even in our tough times, we've always gone to Anfield and given them a game, and it's always been a close game. So I think it's definitely going to be another close game. But hopefully we can win by the odd goal instead of losing this time.
Let's hope so, man. It will be a massive, massive, massive result if we can get a win or a draw, to be fair.
Yeah, I think
even a draw is a good result.
It is, because it keeps us ahead of them. And Liverpool know that. Liverpool know they need to win to overtake us. So I think that should help us in the psychology point of view, that knowing us a draw keeps us ahead of Liverpool. So I think I'm confident we can get a result, no doubt about it. But with Liverpool, in a game of football, there's always a good chance they're going to come away with a victory. But I'm really confident that we're not going to lose this game.
Even a draw though we could still get knocked off top spot if we draw by Leicester, can't we?
Yeah, but at least that's another really tough away game off the fixture list, and we can move on from it.
And then we actually play Leicester next week as well. So maybe
another tough game against.
These next 3 games are so important. Liverpool, Leicester, and Wolves.
Yeah.
Crucial. How many points we're getting over the next 3 games? You've said 1-1 against Liverpool, so that's 1. 7.
2 wins out of 2 against Wolves.
I like it. I like the confidence. Come on, my brother is going 1-1. I'm going 1-0 Spurs. Let me know in the comment section below what scoreline you're going for. That is our match preview. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.